Dude, okay, that right there, where it's just like that sticky, where I can't even move it over to the dude, that's kind of annoying. It's like, dude, I'm just trying to... Dude, okay, yeah, this is, alright. Alright, today we're going to be doing the unboxing and then the testing of basically some of the cheapest controllers that I could find on Amazon for the PS4. Today I want to go over what I just ordered. I ordered 4 controllers on Amazon. One for $10, one for $13, one for $14, and one for $15. And so we'll see ultimately, are any of these controllers actually worth it? Are they all worth it? And is the difference between the $10 one and the one that's 50% more at $15, is there an actual difference between those? We'll also be looking at the cosmetics and stuff like that. Without further ado, let's go in. We're gonna unbox these and then we'll just basically look at them from the cheapest to the most expensive. So, alright. So in this box we have everything packaged fairly decent, nothing's moving around. Alright, so which one is this? This is a very gross looking tank controller. It's very large and I don't expect a lot out of this. However, well, we'll get to that. So which one? This is the Oubang. So this is the cheapest of our controllers, you can probably imagine. So this should then be the second cheapest. Okay, significantly smaller box, not really packaged at all. So this is the $13 controller right here. Okay, so premium wireless controller. Okay, I'm going to say that one for last. This one, okay, this, I don't know. Anytime something comes like this, I start to wonder what's inside here. I assume that this is the most expensive one looking at it, but let's see, what do we got here? The premium. What is the premium? Smaller boxes, feels fairly lightweight. Agelkvoy. Okay, so this is the most expensive controller here. So whatever happens to be in here is our second most expensive. Alright. Alright, let's get this guy on out of here and see what does $10 get us as far as a PlayStation controller. Alright, so we got our instruction book. What is this? Email, gamepad. Okay, so if we have any issues, nice. It's totally generic charging cable, but check it out. It is a long, that looks like it's a long charging cable, so that could be cool. We'll check that out when it comes time to charge this and get it rolling. Alright, so overall, it actually feels okay. That actually feels pretty decent. I won't lie. Okay, these little weird shape on this, that could be getting easy to get used to. That could be good, could be bad. Now, here's one thing I'm noticing already. This is a long distance up here. I don't know if I'm really cool with that, especially if I'm playing for a lot of first shooter games. You know, that may be proved to be the issue with this controller, is this overall height. Now we're going to jump up straight to $13 now. It's $12.99. This is the Augex wireless controller. Okay, so we got a standard power cord. You can see this one's substantially shorter than the white one they gave us. Wait a second. This is the same company. Wait a second. Hold on, guys. I got to check something real quick. Augex. So check it out, guys. This controller, these two controllers are actually from the same company. So this actually very much resembles the standard PS3 controller. Actually, the dimensions, everything about this seems fairly close. The ergonomics are exactly the same. It feels all right. Doesn't look terrible. and it's just a good old standard controller. So this, what is this, the Gamrombo? Alright, so again, nice that it has a formed plastic package for itself. Nice thick book, that's probably because of multi-languages. Again, nice cheap charging cable there. So this one, again, this does feel a little tiny bit heavier than this one. That could be placebo. Basically all the same stuff. A little bit different thumb pads. These thumb pads have these serrations in it. Looks kind of cool. Everything here is set up with kind of a targeting reticle sort of display on the buttons. We all know that's going to wear off super quick. Don't expect those to stay. A lot of times these aftermarket controllers, I'll just swap out these buttons with previously broken legitimate buttons from the PS4, from a PS4 controller, because those will keep the design on them. Okay, so weird little shaped buttons here. You know, everything about this, these feel a little bit better. They're not as shallow. This also has some cool designs. All right, we'll just have to play with that and see how it does. What's supposed to be the top dog, our $15 controller. So already, what I will say is these seem like legit controllers. Okay, good. I'm mostly looking forward to trying this thing out, even though it seems like it'll be a little bit of a pain to get used to because of that height. That seems the most interesting so far. All right, so of all the packaging, this is the only one that I actually have to cut something to get into. All right, that seems easy. It's just to pour it out of there. All right, so this one came with some protection for the thumb pads, like that. It's got a little piece to come off here that protects this. I'll probably leave that on for a little bit, actually. Okay, so what we got I see we got our turbo button right here. So overall, the weight seems all right. These already, the R1, L1 seem a little bit flimsy, but they got good travel. We do got a jack for the microphone there. This also has some sharp angles. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about those. Let's see. You know, I'm gonna have to get in there to see this. This is just way more comfortable, way easier going. That extra little bit that you have to hold the hands up on this, that could theoretically get a bit tiring over time. So we'll have to wait and see. This came with a decently long cord, so not as long as this guy came with, but okay. And I see the turbo function right here for this one. Okay. All right, I'm picking it up. There's a good chance that all these are actually technically manufactured by the same company. All right, so we got our 10, 13, 14, and $15 controllers here. The big thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take at least an hour to 2 hours. I'm going to say at least 2 hours with each controller, just to see how it feels overall. Then we'll go back, look at the overall, what I think of each of them. All right, so soon enough, hopefully we'll get to, and you guys, I'll hopefully have a little bit of gameplay while I'm talking about each one of these controllers and how it feels to actually use it. All right, so now it's time to actually test these controllers in game. So we got the first, what is this one called? This is the Oubang ARES controller. So, and this is the same company that apparently the second cheapest controller. So this is the $9. This is a programmable. I did have to reset it. Apparently there was a program in it when I got it. So that leads me to believe that maybe somebody else had this controller ahead of time. This controller, I mean, it's pink, so that's, you know, pink and orange. I mean, you're probably not going to lose it. You guys can see this is a very, very tall controller. And the one issue already, it's actually not very relaxing to have your fingers up here. I'd rather have them down at an angle like this, but they're up here. And then getting to the R1 and the L1 buttons, that actually is fairly uncomfortable. But we're going to jump in play, see how it goes. So this is our Oubang ARES. Okay, that feels so weird to like having to hit that R1 to toss this thing. Okay, that just sucks, dude. I already am not a fan of this controller. Oh, dude, even the L2 R2 buttons suck to get to. Oh, this already sucks. It's funny. Oh man, this feels so terrible. Oh, look at this. It's a good thing we got a good build going, because otherwise this would be terrible. Yeah, this just feels wonky. Yeah, this just... Oh my god, this controller feels like shit, dude. So maybe you guys have bigger hands than I do, so maybe this controller would be okay for you guys, but it just, I mean, I got fairly decent sized hands. I play drums. It's just, I don't know. It just, as far as, let's see, we'll go down the list here. So the overall look and quality of it, well, it looks like shit. I mean, this is just a terrible controller. I actually got it because it looked so bad and it was the cheapest one. But we don't mind, because we bought a $10 controller and it's kind of the novelty of it is to look so good. So the quality of thumbsticks, the thumbsticks actually feel cool. They're fairly responsive. They do what I expect them to do. I don't have any real complaints. Of course, we'd have to, you know, who knows how they'll hold up time-wise. Okay. Yeah, again, it's actually, the hard part about the thumbsticks is not the thumbsticks' fault. It's hard to move around, but that's because, again, the height of the controller, so I'm trying to move the thumbsticks and reach my fingers all the way up there. So the one fault I have is not directly related to the thumbsticks. The sensitivity of said thumbsticks feels fine. For the most part, all the buttons actually seem okay, except for these top ones. You know, like everything else just seems par for the course. Maybe not. They don't seem super high quality by any means. For a $10 controller, I guess it's pretty much what I guess you would expect for, other than the strange look. It does have the turbo function, so for some people that could be really a good feature depending on the games you play. Alright.
All clear. Black Tusk appears to have abandoned the location.
Yeah, so... I cannot say that I'm sad to be putting this away. So this is the Oubang ARES controller made by the Oubang group, and you know, not terrible for $10. Not terrible for $10. We're gonna move on now. Alright guys, next we're going to do the Augex controller. So this also is from the Oubang group. Same company. This is $12.99 from Amazon. This of all of them is what seems to be the closest to the original PS4 controller. Yeah, in fact, everything about this looks fairly similar to the original PlayStation controllers. Thumbsticks feel pretty much like a stock controller would. Now, whether they will hold up over time is to be determined. You know, everything seems responsive. Nothing seems like it's getting stuck. Very similar to the PlayStation OEM controller. It just feels a little bit cheaper. You can just tell it's just not made to the same quality standards. My only concern so far would just be how long will this last. So yeah, I mean, okay, so the sensitivity, it moves fine. I just don't know. The one thing that feels funny is the buttons. It just, whoa, wait. That wasn't me holding that. That just kind of did its own thing there. There, right there, wait. Somehow I did a melee. There, look at that. Nothing's stuck. So there's some weird, oh, it's still moving forward like that. Oh my gosh, I don't know what that is. So is that something we can do? So if I do both thumbsticks together.
That's a new one. Have you guys seen that? Anybody familiar with this one? All right, well, anyway, I don't think that's supposed to be like that. Call it a hunch. Of course, that could be due to, you know, Sony has that new thing where it'll tell you you're using an unofficial controller, and it seems to, like, do some sort of remapping or something. It seems like Sony doesn't want anybody using a controller that's not theirs. Well, so I will say, for $12.99, this Augex Camo Blue PS4 controller, I have no complaints with it. How long it will hold up, how long it will last, I really can't say. But, yeah, I have no complaints about it. It plays good, and so far is the winner, given it's only the second one it's actually trying out. But hey, we'll see.
All clear. Black Tusk appears to have abandoned the location.
All right, so that run was awesome. Just the controller actually worked great. The skills in the game had its usual issues, but the controller, I cannot complain about this guy at all. So this is, so far, a win. And if somebody's going to ask me about the Augex Camo Blue controller, I would say, hey, it seems like it's a decent price for 13 bucks. All right, moving on. All right, guys, so now we're moving up to the Gamrombo. This is a $13.99 or $14 controller on Amazon. This is ivory white with teal buttons and controls and such. The ergonomics is pretty much the same design as the standard controller. A little bit of the fascia's changed. It feels fairly sturdy. Actually, this feels really actually kind of solid. The weight of this and the solidness, this feels like a PS4 controller. Now, there's some cool texturing on here. There is a little bit with the, actually these don't feel bad. I don't know if you guys can see this. The thumbsticks are a little bit different. They have kind of serrated edges and stuff, which can be good there. And overall, I dig this. The D-pad feels cool. And the buttons, oh no, that's bad. Right out the gate. Look at that. Oh, the circle button. That's not good. All right. So it could be a one-off bad controller, but that circle button is definitely sticking, and it doesn't take a whole lot. Let's see, can we get it? Triangle, you know what? That's going to start sticking before too long also. Okay, so the triangle and the circle button are already... Well, we're going to find out what's up. We're going to check it all out, because here's the thing. You guys know it's Amazon. This is some cheap stuff. It could be that we just got it one that they are bad, but that doesn't bode well. But so far it feels good, looks good. Let's see how it plays. Okay, this one doesn't, that's not very smooth. It's definitely not as smooth. Okay, so the Augex does feel smoother right out the gate, but you know what? I also played with it for a little bit, so we're gonna play with this for a bit. I don't want to judge it too soon. Oh my god, yeah, this is all over the place. I can't use this controller. I'm already telling you this thing is fucking definitely not worth it. Dude, okay, that right there, where it's just like that, sticky, where I can't even fucking move it over to the dude, that's kind of annoying. It's like, dude, I'm just trying to fucking... Dude, okay, yeah, this is, alright. Whatever it is, this controller, it looks good, it feels good, but it doesn't play good. The thumbsticks, while they look good, they're just, like, not sensitive enough. It's very jerky. They don't feel right. And more importantly, the fact that we're having the issue where two of the buttons are sticking right out the gate, it just doesn't bode well. I do like the way this controller looks. I like the way it feels, but the Augex is still the better controller, and it's $1 less than this. So nice, but we do have some issues here. All right, moving on to the last of the new controllers we picked up. All right, this one is the Agelkvoy. Oh, this is our $14.99. I get a $15 Amazon controller. So this is the most expensive one that we're going to be trying out of the batch today. This is, well, it's got some nice sharp edges on it, and the sharp edges do not feel good in your hands. In fact, the way that I'm holding it and stuff, yeah, it's a little. Oh, are you serious? So it's got smaller thumbsticks than usual. They feel all right, actually, for what they are. The sensitivity actually feels pretty decent. So I'm not upset with that at all. The buttons, all the buttons feel nice. Everything feels like it's in the right place. Just overall, this controller feels a bit flimsy. It's got a little sharp edges, and the thing is, it actually feels like a little bit smaller. It feels, I actually, unlike the very first controller we were checking out, I almost wish that this one were to have some, hold on a second, let me get clocked up here. Alright, that just takes care of that pretty quick. It just feels like it moves around a little too much on my hands. Unlike the very first controller, which was substantially larger than I really appreciated. This feels a little bit too small. But we'll see. We're going to go and play with it. The question, I guess, at this point is, how does this feel? This is the $14.99. How does it feel versus the $12.99 Augex controller? This one, I believe, yeah, this does have a turbo function also. So theoretically, you could program any of these buttons to be turbo. I believe it also has some mapping on it. So we would have that option if we wanted it. Alright, there you go. As you notice, we tried to do everything exactly the same each time. Oh yeah, this one's also a little stiff and like, man, come on guys, like, a bit of the ergonomics do affect that though. It's like the way you gotta hold it affects the angle of, you know. You get a little too much leverage on those sticks, you end up sending them a little too far. For the most expensive controller, this feels just
assume they know you're coming.
Cheap. It's working. Womp, womp, womp. All over the place. Yeah, this one's hard. This controller is fucking hard to aim, dude. Yeah, it's this is not a user-friendly fucking controller, I'll tell you what.
25%.
Yeah, dude, it's just... It's actually kind of comical how bad this is, and like how much of a fucking pain in the ass it is. And just trying to make those minor adjustments right there, moving my reticle just a little bit. That's tough. I'm just trying to milk it little tiny bits at a time. Oh my god, dude, come on, dude, the controller, like, literally, is doing everything but what I want it to do. Oh, come on, bro. Dude, this controller sucks balls. This is the most expensive, and by far is, I mean,
immediate medical assistance.
dude, that's it. That shows you right there how bad it is. I mean, this thing is fucking, that's the first time I went down, dude. This thing is shit. That right there, where I'm perfectly on him, I try to make a little adjustment and I go way to the left. It's unnecessary, it's unwanted, it's unneeded. Yeah, dude, just trying to get my aim back on that fucking box. Oh my god, this is so bad. Thing is so bad, dude. By the way, this is also the only one that the mic does not work. I tried out on all the other controllers. My mic works on every single other controller except for the most expensive one.
All
The
clear.
worst.
Black Tusk
It
appears
is
to
the
have abandoned
worst.
the location.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so everything about this $14.99 controller and the most expensive of the four, no, no, no. Of course, this is all just my opinion. All right, now we'll go ahead and I'll try to summarize between all of them as to what I think the clear winner is. So, all right, let's get on to that.
An agent needs assistance.
All right, so trying to go through these and be as subjective as possible. We got a little bit of time to play with them, and I feel fairly confident with these results, given that, you know, there can be a wider variance just because one of these controllers had an issue out of the box, or maybe the sensitivity wasn't exactly where I wanted it to be. There's probably a wider variance of how they could be when they show up versus the actual OEM controllers, where there's very specific specifications and tolerances that they're willing to accept at Sony versus these aftermarket places. So take all of this with a grain of salt and realize that you may pick up one of these controllers and your yardage may vary. So starting out with the Oubang. So that Oubang ARES, you know, it's pros. It definitely is the cheapest at the $9.99 on Amazon. It does come with a turbo feature. It is theoretically mappable. In fact, I had to reset it. I had to go through the steps because it was mapped already, which leads me to believe that maybe I wasn't the first person to receive that controller. It does come with a limited lifetime warranty. I'm not sure what all that entails, but that is there in case that's of any merit to you guys. Some sticks actually felt pretty good on that. And of all of them, it had the longest charging cable. Although I will add, it has a different style charging cable than the OEM controllers do. So shouldn't be too big of a deal, but I just figured I'd throw that out there. Now, as far as the cons of this, it is the largest controller. It is, it definitely is taller by quite a bit, and that puts the R1 and L1 and R1, L2 buttons a little further up on the controller than usual. It's not a very good looking controller with this color scheme, although you may be able to find a different color scheme for the same controller that maybe wouldn't be as obnoxious. And this goes into it here. This is the big cross. It's just not an ergonomic controller. The size, the shape of it and everything, it puts those buttons so they're just not in a good position. It's just a cumbersome controller. I guess my opinion overall is it is. Why is it so cumbersome? That would be my question. Why did you guys make this so big? Who was playing with this? They thought that was a good idea to have those buttons so far up. Overall, I would give it 6 out of 10, and for the price point, I would give it 7 out of 10. So I'm going to rank this thing at a 6.5 out of 10 as the aggregate for the ARES. So definitely could be used, but there are better things out there, I feel. All right, so next we're going to move on to the Augex. The Augex is based off of an OEM design, and this controller is only $12.99. So this came in at the second cheapest. It feels solid. It does feel a little bit lighter than the OEM controllers, but that's to be expected. It's got really smooth action. The buttons and the thumbsticks both seem to work on par with an OEM controller. So the downsides, the cons of this, there's a sort of weird interaction that I was able to get when I hit the R3 and L3 button. I'm not sure if that's just with this controller. I was able to replicate it quite a few times in the gameplay, where if I would tap those, all of a sudden my character would start running forward. That's in the Division 2. I don't know what sort of interactions this may have in other games and what sort of liability that may be. Something to consider. And that goes to the second thing, and this may be part of the issue. So the trackpad functionality is different than OEM, and from the
instruction manual, it says you hold the trackpad and then move the thumbsticks. So it could be that weird interaction with the thumbsticks is something having to do with that trackpad. Regardless, I would give this an overall rating of an 8, and for the price, I would give it a 9. So this comes out to an aggregate of 8.5. I do think the Augex is a solid controller. I'm happy with this as far as an OEM type replacement, especially for the price. Moving on, we got the Gamrombo. So the Gamrombo comes in at $13.99. Of all of them, this one looks the best. It's the nice ivory color, the green buttons. It feels the best. It's really solid OEM design. It has girth. It feels heavy. It doesn't feel flimsy at all. Of all of them, this one feels the closest to an OEM controller. However, two of the buttons, the O button and the X button, the O and the triangle, were sticking right out the gate. It's just unacceptable. Also, the thumbsticks are not smooth at all. You could theoretically go into each individual game and adjust and stuff, but it just, they don't feel smooth, they feel jittery. Here's the one caveat I will say. If this is a one-off, and again, I just happen to get a controller that it wasn't up to par with most of these controllers, this would be a great controller, especially for the price. However, I have to grade it based off of what I got in the box, so I give it an overall of 7, and it definitely lost points because of the functionality and the sticking buttons. And for the price, I would actually give it an 8.5. It's just such a good looking, good feeling. If everything was working, I would straight up give this a 9. But given the controller I received in aggregate, I would score this as an 8. So that puts this just below the Augex. Okay, so now we're going to get on to the $14.99 Agelkvoy. So the Agelkvoy is the most advanced, modern looking of all of these. It's got a nice black profile. The thumbsticks and the buttons feel really good. It does have turbo option for all the buttons, and theoretically it can be programmed so you could remap some stuff if you want to. And here's one thing, and we're going to get to the cons in a second. The last pro is it's cheap enough that I can't score it lower than I'm going to score it. So that should give you an idea what's coming next. So, the cons. The sharp edges that it has, while it gives it a kind of cool modern look, it doesn't make it comfortable. It's not ergonomic. The overall controller feels very light, very cheap. It feels like I could, if I wanted to, just snap the controller in half. And overall, while it does have that modern design, it looks cheap. So if it looks cheap and it feels cheap, we're not doing so hot right out the gate. Now, due to that sort of modern design, it also means that it's actually a bit smaller profile than the standard controller. And that being the case, it can actually be kind of difficult. It can be fairly easy to kind of overshoot the targets just because the controller can actually move in your hand, meaning the thumbstick either moves further or not as far as you were planning on moving. I kept thinking I'm going to play with it and I'll kind of get used to it. No, the longer I played, the more frustrated I became with this controller, which is evident in the previous portion of the video where I'm just complaining about it. And lastly, this is the only one of the 4 controllers that the mic port was in on. I went in and I was playing with some of my buddies and I couldn't talk to them. And, you know, for some of you guys that may not be a big deal. For me, that I do have to do a lot of group gaming, that's a deal breaker. The overall score I would give this is 5 out of 10. Based on the price, I would give it 5 out of 10, and I would give it lower than that. However, it is a $15 controller, so I can't go any lower. But that gives it an aggregate of 5. So that means, looking back, our Agelkvoy, the most expensive controller, comes in at last place at an overall an aggregate score of 5. That's followed by our Oubang ARES, which is the cheapest controller at $10, which comes in at 6.5. After that, I would go with the Gamrombo, which is $13.99. Comes in at 8, and if this thing functioned as well as the Augex, this would have actually been higher. It would have gotten an 8.5, maybe even a 9. And that leads us to our winner, which is the Augex controller that came out with an aggregate score of 8.5. Functions, doesn't do anything cool, it just works. And for $13, definitely worth picking up. In fact, overall, the Agelkvoy is kind of a funky controller, but overall, if you did not have a controller and you had a PS4, any of these would work. You just might be a little more frustrated with the Oubang or the Agelkvoy. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully this video was informative at all in case you're looking at any of these and giving you some insights on the things you may be looking for if you decide to go with an aftermarket cheaper controller for your PS4. All right, thanks for watching this. Y'all be as safe as you need to be out there, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, everybody.